Hi, my name is Abdi Farah. I am with the Department of Homeland Security, Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties.
My name is Janet Mansour-Dur, and I'm a teacher in Hilliard, Ohio, and I serve the district in the capacity of Educational Equity Coordinator.
Hello, my name is Kareem Shora, and I'm a Senior Policy Advisor at the United States Department of Homeland Security. I'm here on behalf of DHS. I was invited by the State Department and the Belgian authorities to participate in a conference on countering violent extremism.
I came to Brussels to participate in a conference on radicalization awareness and prevention.
I'm here in Brussels to share best practices in terms of student engagement, and the idea that when students feel seen and heard, and when they know that they're welcomed in our schools, they perform better academically, and they feel empowered, and they feel connected to their stories, their family stories, and to other students and to the larger communities.
The CVE conference that the Ministry of Interior hosted in Brussels tackled a very difficult issue, which is how to counter violent extremism. And we very much appreciated the lessons that we've heard from our European partners and from our partners in Belgium specifically on some of the steps that they're undertaking to understand the nature of violent extremism in all its forms. The United States is a nation of immigrants, and we have a very diverse population and a long history of, unfortunately, sometimes impacting those populations in a negative way. So our aim is in coordinating with these organizations, with civil society and these populations to make sure that we don't repeat our mistakes, our historical mistakes in impacting different groups, regardless of race or face or gender or ethnicity or sexual orientation or national origin.
The United States government's leadership has shown a great deal of commitment to engaging the public and listening to their issues. The programs that we have are mostly built on the principle of listening to communities and sharing reliable information with them. The second principle is seek feedback on community, on policies that comes from the government. It's not really wise for government alone to sit back and issue policy after policy addressing community problems without consulting communities and seeking feedback from them. And when it comes to violent extremism, we try to make sure communities are empowered to deal with that issue, because it is most of the time, until it becomes a criminal conduct, a community problem.
This work is difficult work. It's not easy, it's complicated, and we cannot lose sight that every person we deal with is an individual, and that we can understand cultural patterns, but every person is unique unto herself or himself. And what we're doing is not instead of academic achievement. This is in line with. So we're not sacrificing one for the other, but they really work in tandem.
One thing in the United States that we focus on is violent extremism does come in all kinds of forms. It is not specific to any one community or any one faith. And so the way we've addressed it in the United States is to engage the topic as far as it being a threat to society because of its violent nature, just like any criminal behavior, violent criminal behavior that may impact society.
Well, one good thing I noticed is that there is a significant amount of research that happens within the European context, that they have had good discussions on the issue of violent radicalization. When I go back, I also will go back with certain appreciation on the ability of our civil societies to get engaged on the issue. Many of the local efforts to counter violent extremism from our home country is being led by our communities. There is a project called Broken Dreams, and that Broken Dreams is about young mothers who lost their kids to violent extremist groups. And these mothers are talking, and they're based in the US, on the issue of violent radicalization, what happened to them and the pain they felt. But interestingly enough, I have seen that very project circulating throughout Europe, especially in Scandinavia countries, and communities coming together and talking and listening what these women have to say, so that they can prevent their children to be radicalized or to turn into violent extremism.
So the conference itself highlighted a number of aspects. One of those aspects that we're both tackling as the United States and in Europe is the threat of individuals traveling to conflict zones to fight and unfortunately ruining their own personal lives, their families, etc. And so our aim was to see how we can engage in positive narratives with the communities so that we're able to address the negative narratives that these individuals may be entrapped with, whether on the internet or in person. This is something that we learned in the United States in tackling the street gang issues, where the community policing model was implemented in different cities very effectively. And so we're basically taking that model and trying to implement it at the national or international level. We know for a fact that when it comes to those issues, the community really plays the primary role. It is not the role of government.
What I'm taking away from the conference is that people are learning about the role of community engagement and how important it is to have people like teachers and counselors and just other members of society involved in young people's lives, because young people need us and they rely on us, and to not see them as whole entire human beings is to do them a disservice. And so I think the work that we're doing, and I think the conversations that we're having really stresses the value of that.